In this lesson, we will learn how to use the inbuilt door tool in 3ds Max to add a double door to our entrance. Now you'll see on the left-hand side from the end of the last lesson, you'll see that all of these door panels have now been added. So what I have gone and done before this lesson is I just gone and copied all of these doors and modified them locally where I needed to, just the way we had gone and done to these doors in the last lesson. So nothing really new was done. It was just a continuation of what I had been doing earlier. So here you will have a look that you have a groove running into the floor slab where you have these large frames here that basically slide into that groove, and they allow for that door to meet the lower floor level here, so they slide off behind this section here. So I just wanted to show you how that works so that you get an understanding of how the little tectonics work on this building. So the part that we're going to be working on today in this lesson is the main entrance in this area. Now you could go and model this from scratch, but it would be a waste of time. What you always want to do is look around your building and see if you can't find anything similar. For example, we have this window here which I'm going to simply go and copy across, making sure that I don't instance it, otherwise you will affect your original version. And I'm going to then mirror it on the y-axis, and then you just want to move it into place and then make the necessary changes to it. So I'm just going to zoom in here so that I can see the point that I'm snapping to. And as far as the glass is concerned, I'm just going to delete the central panel. For the frames, I'm going to delete this central panel as well. I'm going to grow that selection. So basically that entire frame is now selected. I'm going to delete that. And into the area that remains, I'm going to now model the frame of the door. So I'm going to isolate this so that we can see it a little bit better. I'm going to isolate it with the plan. Let me just redo that. And now we can go and start modeling the door. Now you'll find the door in the drop down underneath your standard primitive. So go to geometry and then go down to doors. And then you'll see that it is under pivot door. So just make sure that if you are working on a double door that you have double doors selected, otherwise you will have a single door. And what you want to do then is just use the inside of the frame, and basically using your snaps, you just go from inner point to the front, slide upwards until you hit your top of your frame. And you may need to flip the swing if you need to. And basically, voila, you have your door done. And you may at this point need to do a couple of local small tweaks and changes. So if you need to increase or decrease your width, you can set that. If the depth by default I think is slightly larger, you need to just zero that out if that happens to be the size of your door. And also the height will be most likely slightly smaller. So in this case we have a height of 3.5, so you may need to just drop this to 3.45 and then make your frame slightly higher. Or basically this can be locally tweaked if you know what those figures are. So once you have everything lining up and looking good, you can also test how that door works. So the beautiful thing about the internal doors is that you have all the parameters that are animatable and that are changeable, and that is really fantastic for clients if they come and tell you that they want things to be changed. My favorite part is the fact that you can very simply open it using the open and close spinner that you have on the side, and that is really, really fantastic. And we're going to do something very similar to the main doors, as I mentioned in the previous lessons. We want to show the building in its open and closed variations so that we can see all the different ways that this house can be used. So right now this door is all in one material, and we're going to look at how we can correctly apply textures to these quite complex objects, since they will have quite a few material IDs that we have to go and fill up in our material slots. So that will all be covered later in the course. What I can show you just at the same time is the different other doors that you can use. For example, you can have a standard door, so it will also be a pivot door. It will just be a single door, so you don't have to have the double door selected. And same process here, you just go from inside to inside, slide it upwards, snap onto the height, and basically that height will be 2.4. And you can just lower it down by the width of the door. So if it's 0.4, it'll be 0.37. And now your door will nicely and neatly sit inside that frame. So similarly here, you will be able to animate it being open and closed, and then you can just check as well that your door is opening and closing in the right direction. So here we can see that according to our plan, it is working in the correct direction. So that pretty much brings it to the end of this lesson. You can also obviously have a look at, since you're working with sliding doors, you can have a look at the sliding door function, and you can see what other doors you can create using those sliding door options. So if I just do that, you can see that you also have a type of sliding door, but what we have is something that's very customized and very particular. So having a default sliding door like that wouldn't exactly be the best option for us. But if you, for example, wanted to have something here, or if a standard door was being done, then you can definitely use the standard sliding door function. Also, one of the good ones is the bifold. It is exactly what it says it is. It's basically just a bifold door, where as it opens, it folds this way. If you have double doors, you will have a double door working in this direction. So all those doors are really fantastic to use. You can do the same thing for windows. It's all exactly the same principle. Basically, all your pivoted, sliding, fixed, etc. All of these items are excellent for architectural projects, and especially excellent because you can show them open and closed very, very easily without having to do any custom animations, which we will get onto later in the course. So that pretty much wraps up this lesson. All we had done was we'd copied this front window section, we'd modified it, we'd added that standard 3D Max door, we did the other options, and it pretty much shows you the palette of doors and windows that you can add to your entire building. So that is it. The next one, we will focus on more of the internal fill. We'll have a look at what we exactly do in that lesson now. I'll go through the building and I'll see what the next logical step is, and hang on for the next lesson. It's going to get interesting as we start to work on the more detailed parts of this building. So that's it. Thanks for listening.